Okay, so today we're on our third session for our informational books. And I want to start out by today, and I want you to think about a coach, like a coach on your volleyball team or a coach of the Houston Rockets. And they're usually really, really famous for having a really good relationships with their players. However, coaches also hold you to a high standard. They want you to be the winning team, right? So you have to hold yourself to a high standard to be a coach. You have to be able to do this and this. And coaches have to hold us to a high standard. So I want us to think about that as we're going into this. So today I want to teach you that a coach not only has expectations for the team or for others, they have to walk the walk. They have to turn inwards and hold themselves to those high standards as well. And you're thinking, what does this have anything to do with writing, right? But it does. So this here that you can see on the screen right now is a rubric to help you with the structure of your nonfiction book, right? And you'll notice that over here it says not yet, starting to, yes. And yes would be the column that you want. So you have to know what it is that a good writer of nonfiction does. So we're going to look at just the lead section here. So we're going to look at the lead portion of this text. Okay? It says, I wrote an introduction that helped readers get interested in and understand the subject. I let readers know how the subtopics I would be developing later, as well as the sequence. So how do we do that? How do we get our readers interested in what we're doing? One way you could do that is you could start with an interesting fact, or you could use a famous quote or an interesting quote. Think for a second to go ahead and stop the video and think for a second, what are some other ways that you could hook your readers into a chapter? So let's think about some other ways that we can do this. We could add a quote, we could add an interesting fact, we could tell an interesting story about something. We're going to give an interesting story or interesting description, something that's going to make our readers want to do it. So this is what you're going to do today. So you're going to use this checklist here. I'm going to take it back here when we get ready. And you're going to evaluate the lead in the chapter that you worked on yesterday. Okay. And you might have worked on more than one chapter, but whatever chapters you worked at, I want you really, really to look at that lead and then make sure that it hooks your readers. And if it doesn't, think about one of the techniques we talked about and hook your readers. After you're finished with that, you can go on to some of your other chapters for your book. But when you're doing that, I want you to think about what is it that you really want to convey to your readers? What do you really want them to know? And before you start the chapter, I want you to think about that. And then I want you to pay attention to the leads that are going to hook your readers in. So that is what you're going to do today. You can go back to this, maybe keep this up on the screen as you do it. Make sure you're doing these things and hold yourself to that high standard. Coach yourself in writing. Make sure you're doing better than you were before.